Wolf Nation, and we want to welcome everyone to the August 6th Facebook Live weekly update for Heavener Public Schools. We want to thank Craig Hall and the Heavener Ledger for all they do and coming, and broadcasting this for us so we can communicate with our district, school, and patrons. And here we are. We started professional development this week of August the 4th. Teachers reported, and so we got things kind of going, getting some training, working on our virtual components, and getting some Google Classroom training and some different ideas like that. So we're making a pretty good strides. We were supposed to be going into we were going to start school August the 10th, but we did push that back to August the 20th to give us a little bit more lead time. We did find out that we were going to have we ordered some computers for our last phase due to a grant that we received, but they are back ordered, so that is one factor. And then the other factor is it does give us more time to get prepared as we with this training and so forth like that. So we got a lot of things coming up. School year's coming up. Coach Rowe, athletic director, he'll be in here shortly as we get ready to also our extracurricular activities for the fall, such as the Lady Wolf softball, our cross country, and football will be getting ready to kick off. And so that's where we're kind of at, but he'll give you an update on that. I want to introduce those joining us today. To my left right here is Janie Harrell. Janie is our federal programs, and she's going to talk a little bit about, and of course she's going to probably be just a little bit nervous because I surprised her a little bit about joining us today, but she'll do fine. But she's going to talk to the public about a couple of grants that we did receive. And you've heard us mention one of the grants at $100,000 that supplied lots of training, some technology, and then also technology training, and then some other online subscription services that would help us with our student and curriculum. And so we're excited about that. But she's also going to talk to you about another grant. And then over here across the table, and you can notice that we're trying to stay doing our due diligence to social distance. But we have Miss Diane Cox, our elementary principal. Mr. Craig is not able to join us today from a high school perspective, and Mr. Rawls wasn't able to join us either from the upper elementary. But we do feel like we've got a good slate of hosts here and good topics of discussion to let and get a lot of great information out to our patrons and our general public. All right, well, we'll start with you, Ms. Cox.
All right.
I'm going to turn the AC on just a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
In the elementary, we are getting ready. A lot of our classrooms are totally finished and ready. We are starting to video our virtual open house. And when you view that, you will see what we have put into place to keep everyone safe and practice our social distancing. And so I hope to have that ready sometime next week to put it on our Facebook. And then also we have been doing, like Mr. Wilson said, a lot of training for the teachers to learn to do the virtual classroom. And by us pushing the start date back, we are allowing the teachers to have a little bit more time to put into place what they learned yesterday and the day before and today. So that's going to benefit them a lot. For the teachers for the parents that are choosing for their children to do virtual learning, we do have a date set to help you with some training, to help you know how to get your children started when they need to open up those Chromebooks and be able to see into the classroom and view the teacher doing the teaching. And that's going to be on August the 18th in the cafeteria, and that's going to start at 9 o'clock. And I probably will be reaching out to those that have already signed up, and so that we don't have too many in there. I want to know who all does want to come, so I can have a count and know that we won't be too crowded in the cafeteria, and we'll have plenty of room to do that social distancing. And if you have not signed your children up and you plan on them doing virtual, you need to come by the office because there are two forms that you need to fill out for that. One is for the Chromebook contract, and one is to show that you're going to commit to the virtual teaching or the traditional for the semester. So if you do virtual, it will be for the semester. And the last thing that I have that I really would like to stress is with our kindergarten children, they do have to bus over to the cafeteria for lunch. So parents, please get your kindergarten child a reusable face mask so that they can get to the cafeteria on the bus with their face mask. And we have lanyards that we can clip to their little mask so that when they get to the cafeteria and get in their spot, we have dots where they're going to be sitting. So when they get on their little dot, they can take their mask off and it'll just hang right there. So when it's time for them to get up, that it'll be handy and they can put it right back on. And that's all I can think of right now, Mr. Wilson.
All right, well, we'll let you come back if you think of
Okay,
something else.
thank you.
Yeah, so anyway, well, that's good information, and we're very appreciative of being able to dialogue with our lower elementary and figure those things out. And then, and talking about that parent orientation, that's going to be something that's very, very, very significant, and it's going to be important because it's going to help us, now more importantly ever, is ever before, we're going to have to work together, what I'm saying, with our parents and community and trying to figure out, and this is just another aspect of, community engagement to where we can bridge that gap and be together and to help one another. Now, we will try to do the social distancing and whatnot, but I think it's going to be valuable information, as we get this online curriculum up and running. So that's a great idea. There's Coach Roll. He made it. Yeah, he's back. Coach Roll, y'all know Coach Roll. He's our Lady Wolves High School basketball coach, and also he's our athletic director. And just around the corner, Coach, we got several activities fixing to kick off. We've got Lady Wolves softball. We've got high school cross country. We also have football is getting close, and talk to us a little bit about the front, coming at us with those, what we call fall sport activities.
Well, everything is, as of right now, and it looks like it's going to continue. We're on track to start softball and cross country next week. We play here Monday and Wednesday, or Tuesday and Wednesday. No, I take that back. We do have a junior high game Monday. We just picked it up. Valiant's coming down. So all we're going to ask you is the same thing we've been going over here is we'll have a gate. We ask you that you be respectful and kind of keep your social distancing as you go through the gate. If you have a mask, you're more than welcome to wear it. And I believe if we keep practicing these safeguards, hopefully we'll get to continue to keep playing.
We got to mitigate, don't we?
Yeah, we got to mitigate. Sure do.
We got to mitigate. We have to take those precautions and stuff, And just to kind of give parents a little bit of the feedback too, as as we get ready to prepare, for like if a opposing team or a visiting team is coming to our district, the protocol for the visiting team, as they get on their bus to come here, they're supposed to be taking temperatures at their, go ahead and kind of talk us down.
Well, we had a coaches meeting yesterday, and my hat's off to our coaches. A lot of teams once they get on the bus, they're going to take their temperature, and when they get off the bus at that next location, they're going to give that sheet saying they've all been checked. But our coaches, not only are they going to accept that, we're going to check them here before they come on our field. So we're going to double check them. And if there's a discrepancy, then we'll use both thermometers and go at it again and see which one's right. We want to be safe, than sorry.
And that's just good follow up. Sure. I mean, I think it's it helps us, and we know that there's going to be there's just going to be. It's not a question of if it happens. It's more of a question of when it's going to happen. Right. Some kind of disruption, and so the state's pretty much told us that, but but there's a lot of and it's fluid, correct? I mean, it's just like the elementary work and the district work, and then also with our athletic extracurricular activities, it's fluid. We realize that it can change day to day. There could be times, for instance, I know y'all talked about some scenarios that popped up, recently with when a district, that may have, they may have had a significant outbreak, and then all of a sudden that they didn't, but they still wanted to play an activity, well, we can make that choice whether
Right.
we wanted to participate or not. So, you know, there's just no magical
No, there's not.
solution, is
It's
there?
day by day
It's
and.
day by day. It's
and-
case by case.
But Kate, right, the main thing is we
Yeah.
just want to protect our student athletes.
Yeah, and that's what we're actually doing. So anyway, but you know, it's just it's fluid, and we realize that. So anyway, well, thank you for that update
You're
there, Janie. This is Miss Harold, Miss Janie Harold. She's with Federal Programs, and Janie talked to us a little bit about a couple of the grants. We received 2 grants within about 4 weeks there, and I know you're excited
Not
about
much
that.
turnaround.
Mm-hmm. And
We had to work on them fast.
yeah, yeah, and so we feel very successful in that. Talk to us about the initial grant, the $100,000 grant, and kind of give the public a little bit of update about what that was able, able to help Heber Public Schools.
Well, the first grant, the $100,000 grant, that is allowing us to get training and to get content management systems for our classroom teachers to teach virtually, and very excited about that. They've been in training on those programs all day today and some yesterday, and I tell you what, the teachers, they've stepped up, they're excited, they're trying to learn everything they can to do the best of their ability. And so we've got Edmentum. Exact Path was given to us through the State Department, but we've been able to add Study Island and Reading Eggs and courseware and iExcel. I know these are all things that people don't know a whole lot about, but they are very good programs for our students. And also we were able to purchase more computers to make sure all of our students now individually have a computer, and to get laptops for our teachers that have the cameras on them and the microphones on them that they need to be able to deliver the instruction. And also it provided professional development on, so we could get some training for the teachers on Google Classroom and giving them different tools on learning how to teach virtually. And so that's very exciting. That's what we got from the $100,000 grant. And then the State Department presented another grant that we could apply for hotspots, and this is for students that do not have connectivity, do not already have connectivity, to help us help them. And so they have the same options that all the other students have, that if they want to stay home and learn virtually, they have that same opportunity as other students. Or if we have to go to 100% virtual, that all of our students now can have that ability. So we're very excited about that also. And to get both of those competitive grants, I feel very good for our school district to be able to do that.
Yes, ma'am. I agree. I think that was we've been very blessed, and we're very fortunate that we were able to secure those grants with a lot of hard work, and we're appreciative of that. So, but the thing about those those grants, those things is that is what's going to enable us to be able to hopefully pull through as we progress through this pandemic. Because again, we don't know. It's fluid. It's going to change day to day, maybe week to week. You may have a disruption. And then you may rock on, and you may be good to go, and then all of a sudden you may have another disruption. It's just we know it's going to be fluid, and the thing about that we're trying to do with these federal funds and these grants is that we're trying to limit the disruption, yes, but we're also trying to limit how much learning loss that will take place. We're trying to make our learning stay fluid, and we want the learning to stay consistent, and but we realize that it's also going to be a challenge. Now those hotspot connectivity grants though those were given out across the state, and we know that it was very highly competitive, and so we felt very fortunate to be able to receive those, and we think that those are going to pay off. We talked initially in getting some and putting out in the outlying areas and trying to get our some of our community churches, and we do have some of those on board to help us with that. So we're pretty excited about that. You know, and talking a little bit about, you know, working with, you know, with our community and things. You know, each one of these, you know, different areas within our school has a scope, you know, to deal with, you know, not only trying to provide education, you know, or extracurricular or whatever it may be, but it's also, you know, you've heard each one of them talk about, you know, trying to provide, you know, a safety component. And so, you know, to kind of bring everybody, you know, give them a little bit of a knowledge of what, you know, how we're trying to do those different layers. You've heard me speak of that. Different, you know, how we're trying to layer safety areas and whatnot. One thing that I'm very excited about is that we were able to, recently we have them ordered, we were able to purchase these handheld disinfectant foggers. We were able to secure, I believe it was 6 of those. That's going to be very, very instrumental, you know, working, you know, in our hallways and in our you know, classroom buildings and places like that, and then also our transportation, our buses. And so we were, you know, they're scheduled to arrive August the 13th, so we're excited about that. We think that that's going to be a great tool, excuse me, in trying to help keep us keep virus free, so to speak, I guess. And then another thing that we were able to also institute is that, you know, I don't know if the public's been keeping up with, though, but Governor Stitt, you know, from the state of Oklahoma, is going to provide, he's going to be providing, now I haven't seen all the guidance on it yet, haven't seen the details, but, you know, just from what I've read in press releases and things like that, that they're going to be providing some PPE equipment to school districts, you know, for faculty, staff, and students, and then also to be able to help. And I believe it even said that it would, for educators, it would give them a one free test a month. Maybe does that sound right? Yeah, one free test, one COVID test a month. So you know, we're excited to be able to participate in that, and so we think that that's a good quality as well. So anyway, and so we've just been looking, you know, at how we want to try to interact, you know, because we're going to rely heavily, you know, on you know, a southeastern Oklahoma area, you know, response guide plan that was, you know, and then we kind of tailor it to meet our needs directly, and so, you know, that plan, you know, we'll share that with our Board of Education on Monday night. But that plan was also, it has a lot of input from the regional health department, the southeastern Oklahoma region for the state health department. Put a lot of input into that, so we feel like that's a good plan. It takes a lot about the CDC and the Association of American Pediatrics is in there. There's a lot of guidance, and so we're thankful to be able to have that document. But we're going to rely a lot locally too on our local health department. You know, we make several phone calls just within the last 2 days. All it takes is one positive test, and then it could affect enormous kids or students or adults or whatever it may be, but it can affect several individuals as they go throughout that and are trying to figure out who's been in contact and whatnot. But that's who we have to rely on when it comes to those. And so you're going to see a lot from the county health department throughout our county. If you're not just if you're involved in Heber Public Schools, but if you have a school-aged child in a district, they're going to be relying heavily on the LaFleur County Health Department. So we're excited about that, though, that we have that opportunity. We just know that it's going to be something that's ever changing. It's going to be something that's fluid. We're not going to be able to just be able to say, hey, this day right here, we know that. Well, no, because you don't know how we don't know how this is going to react. But we do know that we're going to try, we're going to do. We're talking about different safety. We bought several gallons of hand sanitizer, trying to make sure that our classrooms are going to be prepared for that. we know that we're going to be doing the temperature checks, and we've had discussion, and we realize that, that's not the only symptom. But we do feel like, though, that, it's part of the due diligence. We're going to ask the parents, if you're sending your child up here, that you're certifying them that they're safe. But, we want to make sure, and so we're going to need that help at home. But we're going to, as a district, we're looking at technology that's going to allow as students enter a building, it's going to be able to take that temperature for them, and that's been that's quite a significant investment for our kiddos, and and we realize that well, what happens, and we discussed this in our leadership admin meetings, well, what happens after, if we get a vaccine, or this thing goes away, whatever, we still have these machines, because guess what? We don't ever want sickness. We don't want any kind of sickness. We don't want any kind of fever, not just COVID. We don't want flu fever. We don't want hay fever. We don't want, we don't want any, we don't stomach bug fever. We don't want any fever. So if this device, even though it's actually out there in the market because of COVID-19, we're going to purchase some of these, and we're going to try to set them up. They're portable, by the way, so we can actually move them to athletic venues. You'll probably like that.
Yeah.
But by doing that, though, that means we still can use them as we go throughout, even past COVID-19. We'll still be able to use them. And so again, it's a significant investment, but it's just another layer of trying to be safe and trying to keep our students and our faculty and staff safe as well. So anyway, Craig, you got any questions there?
No, we don't have any.
No questions. All right. Well, just to kind of wrap up a little bit, school, is going to start for the students. We're looking at August the 20th. Just to kind of reiterate a little bit, like on transportation, listen, we're going to have transportation. But if you can bring your children, that's fine. That's great. That's better. We'll hug your neck for it. After COVID, of course, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, but you understand what I'm saying. We're glad, that we can provide transportation, and it's there if needed. But if you can drop your kids off, then do it, okay? Masks are going to be highly recommended, highly, highly, highly recommended, okay? And, and so, because, we feel like that, that's another layer of that protection. We want to try to put as many layers of protection between, a student and a faculty staff member and the virus that we can. So if we can do that, but on that transportation, if you can, we're going to have the windows down, weather permitting. We've talked about that how many times in our meeting. Classrooms, they feel free to raise their windows to have air flowing in their classrooms. When it's appropriate, of course. And so, but anyway, August the 20th. That's kind of our kickoff date. Just know that today's the 6th. That's 14 days. So a lot can change with the novel corona COVID-19 virus. So we'll just try to we're going to try to keep doing these Facebook Live. We've got our Facebook page. We have our calling tree. We have our school messenger. We have all kinds of, and we're going to try to get that as much as we can. So anyway, got anything?
I did.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. With us trying to keep traffic out of those buildings as much as possible, I just wanted to remind the parents that those first 2 days of school, we're not letting parents in the building to bring their kids in. But the teachers, 5th grade down, do want their children, when they come off the bus, and if they're not going to the cafeteria, or when the parents let them out of the vehicle, they want their children to come on into their classroom.
Mm-hmm.
They're not wanting them to go out back yet. They want them to come into the classroom so that they've got those 2 days to talk to them about the social distancing and the procedures for back there when we do start doing that. So that first Thursday, Friday, you can let your child out there at the crosswalk where we have our teachers there that lets them either come over to the building or go into the cafeteria. And same thing, if they get off the bus, they'll just come right on into the building, or they'll go to the cafeteria. And that's just for 5th grade down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Great, Coach Roll.
I just want to thank everybody we had a successful, our first ever Heavener High School or Heavener Athletic garage sale with great success, and hopefully we can do it again next year. So if you have some treasures that you want to get rid of, we'll be glad to take them.
There you
I need to
go.
clean
Yes.
out my closet.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Jamie, no? Well, just to kind of wrap up, we realize that, that we've never started a school year like this. We've never opened up a school year. We realize I don't know that there's any administrator or there's any teacher that may have went through something like this to begin with. But we also know that there's not any parents that sent their children. We've discussed this, in our admin leadership meetings, that we know that as parents, there's parents that haven't sent their kids, to an opening year like this. We've said it in the past. We knew that the schools we're walking into in August were going to be different than the ones we walked out of in March, and we realized that, but one thing that we want you to know that, this admin team, this faculty and staff at this district, we care about the kids in this community. We fight hard for our kids in this community compared, you're out there fighting for competitive dollars, you know what I'm saying, and you're putting the time and energy in, that's a pretty good testament to a district that cares about their kids and that wants to, we may not get it right. We know that, there's going to be things that's going to crop up that we're not going to be, that we may not, immediately have an answer for, but we're going to work. And we're going to work out love for these kids. We're going to work out love for this community, and we're going to try our best, to make sure that everything we do is going to be for the betterment of our kiddos in our school. And so that's one thing that and I'll tell you, I'm very blessed to work with a lot of great people on a daily basis that care about these kids. And so, anyway, I don't have anything, and I think that's about all that we appreciate the Wolf Nation out there. For tuning in, and we appreciate everybody that wants to help us be successful. Yes, we'll see y'all. Thank you, Craig. We appreciate Heber Ledger and all that you do for us.